And today we're gonna be talking all things about WebBooster. It's the service from TERN where you can work one-on-one with a web developer to help you build a website for your business. It's one of the covered services from TERN. And you will, at the end of the program from WebBooster, you will at the end of it receive your own business website, which is just amazing. And almost every business could really use one. It's the way that we interact with our modern world and how your customers are most likely are going to be able to find you. And we have built a new process for you to be able to communicate directly with the web development agency that we work with, who are here today as well, our friends over at Mendy. Thank you for being here, guys. And you also might recognize the rest of the 10 team members who will be here to work with you one-on-one to help you develop your WebBooster briefs, which is the documents that you will pass on to the web development team, who will then start working on your website. Now, please make sure to keep your microphones muted until you're asked to unmute, or if you want to speak. And please use the Zoom chat to ask questions and make comments during the session. And if you do drop off the call, do not stress, just try and rejoin back as fast as you can. And you won't miss anything. Now, our goals for today are to make sure that at the end of the session, you can walk away knowing that you have an idea of a good idea of what makes a good website, so that hopefully you can try and integrate the same knowledge into designing your own website for your business. And another thing that we want to know by the time we walk out of here today is to know what the key parts of a website are, what elements go into a website, which template of websites that we use in WebBooster could be right for you, and that you have started working on your WebBooster briefs, which is the document that I mentioned, that you will fill it in, pass it on to the agency, and they will start working on your websites. And we will get into more details about how the process works in a minute. And we want you to know by the end of this workshop what the next steps are, how the process is going to work, and when can you get your website at the earliest. And so without further ado, I'm going to tell you about our agenda. So we're going to start with the introduction and welcome, which is what we're doing right now. And then we're going to get into the WebBooster program. What is it? How much is it? How does it work? Why would I need a website if you're still unsure at this point? And then we're going to talk a little bit about the additional costs of running a website. Because while the WebBooster program is funded for you by TERN and you don't pay for using WebBooster, there are other costs associated with owning and running a website over time, which you should be aware of before you start working on your website, so you can make decisions that can affect those costs. And then we're going to follow by a demo of our WebBooster brief and the development process, and kind of like some examples of websites from Mendy, who's going to be done by our good friend Alex, who's here. And following that, we're going to break into our breakout rooms as per usual workshop effect. And we're going to start exploring the brief template. We're going to get to know it. We're going to start filling the information. You will see once we show you the brief, what parts it has and how to go about it. But that's what we will be working on mainly during our breakouts. And then we're going to do a 5-minute break, refresh our glasses of water, have a stretch in our legs, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do a quick question and answers in case if there are any questions that you might have from the moment when we were in the breakout rooms, and then some of the things that you might have wanted to work on. And then we're going to go into another breakout room where we're going to continue working on our brief. Now, while both of our breakout rooms are dedicated to working on our brief, we don't expect you to finish and finalize everything today. But it's an opportunity for you to work here with your coaches and with the rest of the team members, and be able to also get advice directly from the Mendy team while they're here, um, as you go on about filling your briefs. And at the end of the session, we're going to come back, get some top tips, and wrap up the call. And that is our agenda for today. Now, WebBooster, I'm going to give you a step-by-step of the process, which is how does this whole thing work? What do I need to do before we can get started? And then what are the expectations of me as we go through the process of the WebBooster? The first thing is your website brief. This is the document that I mentioned, which we will be working on today. You will receive links from your coaches on where your specific brief is. Everybody has one. Don't worry, we've not forgotten anyone. And you will fill those briefs. You will work on it and pass it on to the development team from Mendy, and they will take that brief and build you a draft of your website. This is the first version of your website based on everything you've told them, based on all the information that you've given them. So they will look into your brands. For example, if you've been through Brand Booster, they will take all of that into account, incorporate your brand into the design of your website. And once they come back with that draft, you have an opportunity to review it and give feedback. What do you think about it? What are the parts that you love? What are the parts that you wish you could change or alter? Are there anything missing from the website that might have been neglected previously? This is your opportunity to speak up using your feedback, and the development team will then take that feedback into account, go and make your final changes to the website and finalize the design. And then this is a point where you will also buy the domain and your site will go live. From this point on, your website can be technically seen by anyone who has your address. And this is not the final step, because after this, you also need to make sure that you have your terms and conditions and your privacy policy in place. This is just to make sure that you are being compliant with all of the UK laws and regulations, and that the visitors in your website are aware of how your business functions. And generally speaking, you might have, if you are quick with your part of the process, which is filling in and finalizing your WebBooster brief, if you're quick with that, then the development part can take 3 to 4 weeks. But if you are delayed with your website WebBooster brief, then the development process can also be delayed. So how long it's going to take until I get a website is really dependent on me, right? So my advice, try and spend time and work on your brief as well as you can, and try and stick to the deadlines for yourself that you set to get your website as soon as possible. Now, there are some costs associated with owning a website. So the WebBooster program pays for the development costs. So that is the time that is spent on building a website, setting it up, launching it. All of that process is fully covered by the program. But as part of that program, as part of that process, you will also need services from other third-party providers that are not TERN related at all. And these are things such as your platform web hosting. Two of the examples that we use at WebBooster are Wix and Canva. These are the platforms, these are the companies that can host your website. This is kind of like a digital space where your website gets placed on, and that usually comes with its own costs. Now for Wix, we do have access to a discount code, but once you get to the stage where you want to decide on which platform to use, we can discuss it in more details, but this table is just here to give you some ideas that there are costs associated. With Canva, it's a little bit more expensive than Wix, generally speaking, But the good thing about Canva is that if you are a charity or a nonprofit, you could get the website hosted on Canva for free. So there is a separate application process for that. And if you choose to go down the Canva route, we can discuss that in more detail as and when the time comes for it. The third other cost is your domain. So this is your address. Usually all the websites that you visit, if you've noticed, they end in a .com or .co.uk or .io or .ai. These are what we call domains, which are the digital addresses on the internet that point to a specific website. Now, if you want to look professional, if you want to look established as a business, you would want to definitely have a domain. They're not super expensive. They usually cost around 10 to 20 pounds. And with some Wix plans, you can actually get your domain for free. So that's a kind of like a nice add-on. And if you want to have a business email where your email says your name at the name of your company.com, then you will need to pay for that service separately as well. That usually costs around £60 if you use it with Wix, which also sometimes comes with discounts. But this is something that you don't need to start spending on straight away. You can set up your website, and then once you're ready, you can start paying for that. So nothing to kind of like be concerned about right now. Now, you might be thinking, all of these costs, why would I care about a website? Why should I have a website? Because if your business was a physical store, your website is the outside of it. It's the first thing that people would see. And it's that way on the internet. It's the first, usually we call them also a landing page. It's the first place where your customers would come and see your brand, would get acquainted with your business. And so it's very important to have a nice one in order to draw attention and hold it. And it's the first thing that people will always look at. If anybody wants to make sure that your business is legitimate, the first thing they're going to do is they're probably going to search your business on Google, or try and see if you've given them a business card. Do you have a website on that? Or on your social media, they're going to try and check and see if it points to a website. So it's really one of those things that can really help legitimize your business, as well as improve your engagement with your audience. And last but not least, it also allows you to collate all of the information about your business, all of your resources, everything that your customers would need to know into one place. For example, if you're a food business, you could always have a website with your menu on it, with details on how to book a table or order a takeaway. If you have another type of business, if you have e-commerce, or if you create products, you can have a shop on your website where your customers can buy directly from you. And so as soon as you capture their attention on your website, you could try and sell to them. You can try and convert them from visitors into buyers. Now, hopefully you're somewhat convinced that a website is actually good for you, right? So that you would want to have a website. And you're thinking, okay, now that I know I want a website, how do I know what kind of website I want? What are the good elements that go into a website? And the first thing about that is that a good website should build trust in your brand. And it should communicate your message, inform your customers about what it is that you do, your values, and everything that you have to offer to them. Why should they be your customers, right? And it should give them a power to take action. You should make it easy for them to become your customers. And that can be in many different ways. They could become fans of your social media, so you can point them towards other channels that you might have to engage them more in your business or in your cause, if you're a social enterprise. And so a website can be really good for that. And it should be an overall enjoyable experience for your customers. And it all starts with your name. So first thing you do, you've got to find a domain name that you like, right? It has to be related to your business. And you need to check to make sure that it's a name that's available, because if there are other businesses with similar names, they might already own the domain for that specific website. And so you might not be able to get that domain. Once you have your domain, you've got to think about your user experience. So I've got the address, right? Now I want to build something in that address. If you think about it like a physical house or a physical store, right? You've selected the street or the location of generally where you want to have your shop. And now you're thinking about what does the store actually need to look like? What does it need to have? What are the different parts of the store that I would want to have for my customers to come and visit? And a big part with that is around user experience. You want to make sure that it's mobile ready, it's easy to use, it has calls to actions in order to engage your audience and bring them in, and that it's easy to find so people can find your website. Now, all of these very, very, very deep topics, right? But as you go on around researching and developing your website, WebBooster Briefs, keep these points in mind. How can I make my website more easy to use? How can I make it more easy for my customers to take action about my business, whatever that may be for your business? Secondly, you want to convert your audience. You want to have forms, right? You want to get customer information. You want to get them to sign up to a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter. You want to have a chat system. You want to have social media links to get them more engaged with your business. And if you have other sites, you want to have links to those sites from your website. So if you have an eBay store for your business as well, you can link to it from inside of your website. And these are generally some of the best ways that you can try and convert your audiences from simple visitors to your website to potentially paying customers that'll help your business grow. And last but not least by any means is your brand. Your brand is one of the most important visual aspects about your business, right? It's how you communicate values visually. And so you need to make sure that your website fits in within your brand. And if you've been through the brand booster service, then you already have gotten a big part of that done. So we're going to show you some examples of like an example brand, Coffee with Kids, and how that would look like if it were to be turned into a website. Now, websites usually taking the theme of your brands in overall, so it will tend to use the same colors, the same fonts, to make sure that it relates and is a representative of your overall business's brand. So your website becomes an extension of your brand. And this is the example website of Coffee with Kids, where the logo is used, but then also all the other fonts, they use the same colors as is in the brand and the logo. And the theme of the images that you see also on the website pages are relevant to the business's overall overarching theme. And here you can see some examples of call to action buttons. So here you can, as a customer or as a visitor, you can potentially book sessions with this business or become a monthly member. And these are what we call to actions. You want to have call to actions that are effective, simple for users to use, and attractive. Things that, it makes your users or your targeted audience want to become your customer. Now, with that, I'm going to pass on to my friend Alex from Mendy, who's the founder of Mendy and is our WebBooster development partners. He's going to do some demos for us. Alex, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass on to you.
Hello, everyone, and I will share my screen. Okay. Hello, my name is Alex. I'm a founder of Mendy, and I'm also graduate from 2 of TERN programs. The last one year ago, Ideas Interaction. Yeah, and about the WebBooster Brief. It's a new one. It used to be like this before. I'll show you on Google Slides, and now it is on Canva, which is much easier for you to create your brief. And what is important for us as a developers to do? Okay, first of all, this is just a price, additional cost, depends on the platform. For domain, again, depends on your plan on weeks, for example, and email address, etc., etc. Everything you need to pay, because nothing can work for free at the moment in this world. Anyway, about your business, this is very important for us and for you as well. Your name, of course, your business name, for example, let's say TERN, business email, if you have one, business phone, links for your social media, and what is your business strapline, describe your business, and target customers. Especially, please fill up this form, target customers. This is important for us, especially demographics. For example, if it's like teenagers, let's say 16 years old or 18 years old, compare with like elder people like 50, 60 years old, it will be like completely different approach and requirements for designer, because they want completely different websites in general, because it is different generations. And on this next page, this is one of the most important questions for us. What is the main aim or main purpose, or like why do you need a website, for what, for why, and etc., etc. And also this question, competitor websites. Without answer for these questions, we cannot proceed and we cannot create a website for you. You need to show us what you like or what you want to be. Any websites you like, especially competitors, but it couldn't be something different, or just because, for example, if yeah, just put here some links and tell us what websites do you like, or what is your competitors' websites. And also, this is example template for you prepared from us. You can push your right mouse button and choose. Does it work? No. Yeah. Open link in new tab, and then it will be shown as a template, and you can choose from here. Domain name could be changed anytime, or could be 2 or 3 or 5 if you want. Normally it's just 1. It doesn't matter really. Search words, it's important for SEO, and WebBooster folder on Google Drive, where you can put all your pictures for your website. And then just choose this one and put somewhere you like. Okay, like this. For example, if you need an online store, definitely. If you don't need an events, just drag and drop. It's about the structure or additional features for your website. And this one also chat. For example, on Wix, it's very easy to use. Forms, if you need some. Instagram, let's say yes. And then this is the most important things. It looks a little bit confusing, but I will show you what you need to do. In this half, the left half, you just need to choose between from these four templates and just drag and drop. And from this part, you can just use this one. For example, you can upload some pictures. Let's say, yeah, this one. Or you can choose from existing pictures on the Canvas stock. But let's choose uploads. And you can drag and drop here. And we can use it, we will use it when we're going to create your website. If you want to add something on replace, for example, add extra pictures, you can just drag and drop here. For example, title, additional pictures, additional, and then drag and drop, drag and drop, etc., etc. For example, like this. And other pages are the same. You're choosing template from the left, and then you're filling up on the right. Title, text, and the picture. And you can add whatever you want from this side. Or you can, for example, use elements. But if you don't know Canva, use this one. You can, for example, add this and then choose picture. It will look like this. Other pages. The first one is the home page. Second one is a about us, offering products. The same, but how it's going to look like. You can create list of your products. If you want to, it could be like two options. It could be just to show your products and sell it straight away on this website. For example, we created for a Ukrainian company website with TERN, also entrepreneur from Ukraine, this website. And for example, he has a product, but he is not selling on the website. He just showing that these products exist, and you can request an order and then send to the company. Let's return to the brief. You just fill up this form. It could be, for example, without price, as I showed you. There is no price because the prices depends where, how, and how many. And then two more pages, contact us and extra page. Just small remark, when you open this WebBooster brief first time, it could look like this, and you have no idea how to navigate. It is here. Just push this small, and it will show all your pages, and then you can navigate. Same situation here. You can choose and it will show up. Yep, external page, as much as you want, whatever you want. And then the final page is just to-do list. Selected Wix website template, completed brief, for example, yes, and then selected domain name, submitted my website, etc., etc., etc. Again, the most important questions for us as a developers is everything about your business. and your WhatsApp number. Through WhatsApp, we can directly contact you and ask questions if we have, which will allow us to build it faster. And then main aim and competitors. We want to know how you want to, how it should look like from your point of view, and choose template, of course. Yeah, domain name, it doesn't really matter to start for us. You can choose later. It could be like taken already, and you can choose another one. And yeah, and the keywords, again, it's for SEO. It could be done later. Yeah, and I will show you for a few examples for what it used to be on Brief. It's a Sojok for the name of the company is Sojok Food, and how it looks now. This is a simple website. You have a menu and contact. And also a few examples. Again, this is a Vatek. It's more complicated websites with many different pages. For it's the business website, like already existing business. And one more, this is what we're creating for my own project. We have a refugee community, and yeah, we can add some animation. Like this.
All right, so this next part, we're going to do a little bit of freestyling. We're going to discuss your questions. So if there's anything burning on your mind that you were thinking about the brief, the process, any unclear areas, please ask questions, put them in the comments or unmute yourself and ask. And we'll try and answer as best as we can.
I have a question in like a general question about the reach for the website.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like ahead of the thing, but like it's really hard to, when I Google any kind of thing, if it's not promoted or if it's not well known, it's usually hard to find. Is that something we can at all control?
Yes, you can. So there are technical aspects to this, but there are also other things that you can do to improve that. Once your website gets set up and launched, you can ask Google to come and use it. Wix and other platforms usually have a very simple button that you need to click, and then it will register your website with various search engines. And once those search engines come to your website, they will read through all the text, look at all the images, and then give them small tags, right? And this is where something important comes into play, that in the brief, we call it keywords, right? These are the specific words or small sentences that are associated with your business and your brand. And in order to, become more visible on search engines like Google, it's important that you use consistent keywords across your pages on your website and your social media. And the search engine algorithms will be able to connect the dots between, this social media and this websites are for the same business. And that is one of the things that you can have a lot of control over, that will massively impact how visible your website is. That was a great question, Fuad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of the list of products, can we in the future extend to have like more products? Because like if some products has different features like color, sizes and all, and then also I probably have around 25 or 30 to start with. Is it feasible, or do we need to stick to 10, 15 at the beginning, and then like can we add more in the future?
Right. Sorry, Alex. I was just going to mention one sentence and then I'll pass on to you, Alex. I was just going to say, generally speaking, it's best to start with a smaller selection so as to not overstimulate your audience, especially when you're just starting out. But I'm sure Alex has a much better in-depth answer. So I'll pass on to Alex.
We can create, for example, if you have different types of products, we can create each type for like one product each type of, and then you can add as much as you want. I mean, 100,000. We can just show you how to do it by yourself, and you can manage in the future. It's easy actually.
Top tips for making your website. Now, one of the important things to remember once you do get your website is that it's not something that you do once and then you forget about. It needs continuous updates, not super frequently, but it's important to make sure that your website information is always up to date. So you won't be just done with your website once you receive the final from the Mendy team. Make sure that your addresses are all up to date, your contact information, your business information, prices. Keep note of those things, so always remember. And then it's important to, so to speak, keep the paint fresh. Make sure that your detail is up to date, your buttons still work. If you link from your website into your social media and then, for example, your Instagram account, and then later on you change your handle on Instagram, that also changes the link to your Instagram account. So be sure to go back and update it. Don't forget to test your buttons. Like, just open your website, click on every button, make sure that they do what they're supposed to. And if they don't, then that's the time to start looking into what's causing the issue and how do we fix it. Another top tip is to use your website for an ongoing storytelling. Your website will likely start as a very, very simple thing. You will have your initial branding information in there, your strapline, your pitches, what it is that your business does. And much like the way that our pitches and how we talk about our business over time changes and improves with every time we talk about it, so should your website. So every time you change the way you present your business and you notice that you're starting to get better feedback, you're starting to get more engagement, you can also do the same thing with your business websites. And you can use it to tell a story. You can start with who you are, what it is that you do, how does it benefit people, what is it that your mission is. So make sure to use that canvas in the digital world to the best of your benefits by telling a story and engaging your audiences in that story. Which brings me up to my next point. Always think of your visitors and your customers as your audience. They're there because you're telling a story. You're telling them about something that your business does that could help improve their lives, that could change their lives for the better. And so how you talk about what it is, what that thing is, can make the biggest difference between an audience that listens to your story or an audience that gets bored and stops listening to you. So work on it, improve it, and as time goes on, you will start to see better and better results from your website. And with that, kind of like high-level top tips, it brings me to the end of the session. Thank you so much for joining today and for working on your briefs. I look forward to seeing them completed and your websites developed. And please, you do know us at TERN. We love feedback. We love to improve what we do every time. So please take out your phones, scan the QR code, or click in the link in the chat that hopefully one of our team will post in a second. Give us feedback. Give us your thoughts. What did you think about today's session? What was the content like? What did you find useful? What didn't you find useful? What would you like to see more of? Let us know all your thoughts, and it will help us improve these sessions in the future.